Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you'd already know that the title of tonight's show is Solid Steps. And those are the kind you can be taking in this next week, because there are going to be opportunities for you to take solid steps in different directions. Remember, your options are sort of spreading out right now. And also, I think it's because people are subtly changing, maybe in their minds or in their emotions or in their jobs in one way or another. And that's all right, because after all, it's summertime and we can go ahead and combine our love of home and of work and sort of enjoy ourselves. So summer can be a lot of fun right now, and that can help you take solid steps. What I mean by solid steps are steps, even if they're small, even if they're baby steps, that lead you in a direction that is more comfortable for you. That, you know, as you reassess your position now, you know, since we're sort of at the half point of the year, you may be thinking that you want to change a couple of things, and you can be anticipating changes in the fall as well. And so this is a good time for you to sort of look for a way, even if it's a small way, to take some solid steps. And that is because there is so much strength. In fact, there are 7 of the 10 planets in only 2 elements. There are 4 planets in the earth signs, and there are 3 planets in the water signs. And these planets are all trining each other within their elements. And so that simply means that there is an opportunity for growth if you want to take it. And this is a good time for you to do it. And so that is because the sun right now is in Cancer, and it is accompanied by Mercury, the planet of the mind, in Cancer. Only Mercury is direct now, which is good because Mercury rules news and communication and easy transitional change. And those 2 planets are being trined beautifully by a very powerful Neptune in Pisces. And Neptune is the ruler of the sign. And together those 3 planets are trining the sign of Scorpio as well. And so that simply means that now that Mercury is direct, there can be some good news. And that good news may have been delayed for a while, and it could be about your home or your family or your relationships, or it could be about a real estate matter, or it could be about the idea that with changing your mind a little bit or softening your opinion about somebody, that it is possible right now for people to calm down a little bit and to get along a little bit better. In other words, relationships can work out better right now. All of water signs rule our relationships, and they rule healing. So that is very positive, particularly because everybody, including our country, America, which is ruled by Cancer, is somewhat aspected for some good news. And it may have been delayed for a while, but it could be coming our way, which is great. And with good news, maybe you can do some good in your own feelings or in your own home. And that simply means that if there is some sort of old wound or a relationship that you haven't been too happy with, or one that hurt you in the past, maybe you could mend a few fences or change your opinion or your mind, and that could end an injustice and create a way to heal. And that would be just great, because that would allow you to make solid steps, not only improving your relationship, but with a happier heart. Maybe you could also improve your career or your long-term security or your investments or your health. That would be great too. Because the second way that you could take solid steps right now that could result in real tangible results is because Uranus in Taurus, a fixed financial sign ruling investments, is beautifully trining Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in Capricorn, and Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. These 3 planets are going retrograde, but they are all so tightly conjunct near the end of the sign of Capricorn, that their power is doubled. It's compounded. But those planets are all going backward. And that simply means that it might be a good time for you to go back and sort of rethink what you're doing in your career or your job, or where you want to go, or how you want to spend your time, or even how you want to invest your money. Because you might want to make some changes that are a little bit better for you right now. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that could be well favored all year long. So you could take some solid financial steps toward greater profitability and stability. And I mean financial stability. But at the same time, you could take some good emotional steps toward healing an old wound, or maybe changing your mind about something, and that could give you its emotional satisfaction and make your heart a little happier as well. So you have those options right now. You have different ways that perhaps even if you're only taking baby steps, you can go forward as your options are spreading out. And that is because going forward yourself is a real good idea right now, because otherwise, about your only other choice is simply to get stuck in a rut that involves differing opinions or acrimony or even anger or aggression, and that is because there are still 6 planets in a harsh T-cross among cardinal signs. So that Sun and that direct Mercury right now in Cancer are still being opposed by Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in Capricorn, and together those 5 planets are all being squared by a dynamic, aggressive Mars in Aries. The real danger is coming from the fact that Mars rules Aries and Saturn rules Capricorn. That Mars isn't supported by anything. There are no planets in the other fire signs, but the 3 planets, including Saturn in Capricorn, are being trine by Uranus in Taurus. So you should try to do yourself some good right now. And if people are trying to stir you up and sort of agitate you in one way or another, just remember, any aggressive actions right now or attitudes can cancel out the effect of them. In other words, people who push too hard will only create more resistance, and that is self-defeating. That is why you shouldn't hang around those people because they're not doing you any good. And so this is a better time for you to make solid steps, even if they're just small, in a direction that is better for you. All I'm saying is think for yourself. This is a great time to do that. Okay, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, yes, you have a wonderful pioneering spirit, and yes, you can be filled with conviction and energy right now because Mars is in your sign. But there is no backup to that. In other words, there's nothing in Leo and there's nothing in Sagittarius. And there are 5 other planets challenging your sun sign right now. That means, no matter which way you look, Aries, you can be looking at a little bit of trouble right now. For instance, the 3 planets in Capricorn, which rules your career and your public reputation, can be sorely challenging you. So your job could be on the line. It might be due to a decision that a higher up makes about budget cuts or staffing cuts. It doesn't really have anything to do with you personally, but you could sure be affected by that right now, Aries. So try to keep a smile on your face and try not to argue with anybody right now. And then the Sun and Mercury in Cancer are also squaring your Sun, which means there's a home or a real estate matter that probably could work out a little bit better if you would just listen to what somebody else has to say right now. Maybe a family member wants to do something their way, or maybe a real estate deal can be worked on if you are a little more conciliatory. And so try not to have everything your own way, Aries. It's going to lead to tremendous loneliness as the year goes on. And I know you don't want that. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is a wonderful time for you. We're over that period this spring that was so challenging when Mars and Saturn in Aquarius were actually squaring Uranus in your sign. That was all three malefic planets. That was a little hard on you, Taurus. It was hard on everybody, well, particularly in Aquarian. But now that's past because Mars and Saturn have, Mars has gone on. It's in Aries now. And Saturn has retrograded back into Capricorn. And along with Jupiter and Pluto, they're all trining your sun now, Taurus. So it looks to me like you are wise to concentrate on your long-term security, on your career, and your public reputation. Even though you could be very busy and working hard right now, you should think a little bit more about your investments. And I'm not suggesting that you spend a lot of money right now, but you may want to reposition your investments in order to ensure a very comfortable retirement. Maybe you should think about that a little bit more. Maybe there are some strategies that you used in the past that no longer apply to the present conditions. And that is why maybe you need to review these things and take some solid steps, perhaps in a new direction. And once again, I'm not suggesting that you spend a lot of money right now, but you could put yourself in a better position financially if you concentrated on that a little bit more right now. And so I would do that if I were you, Taurus, because you are looking at some pretty good opportunities this year, and you certainly would have a chance to make a solid step right now if you wanted to. There are still 4 retrograde planets. Nothing's going to happen fast, though. So take the long view. You'll be happier that way. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, ooh, you've had Venus in your sign for a long time, but today you also have the moon in your sign. That makes you even more popular because the moon conjuncting Venus means that you can have a sort of a soft spot in your heart for a lot of people, and they can have that for you, Gemini. You could be particularly popular with women who like what you're doing or what you're saying or your opinions. And so something that you want to do that could involve a temporary project or a part-time effort could work out very well for you, and you would be well thought of. So your popularity is simply because you are multifaceted. Geminis are very flexible and adaptable. They can do more than one thing at the same time. I mean, they like that. And so this is a time when you really should get out and circulate among pals and buddies and neighbors and friends and just find out what the news is everywhere, because there could be some good news coming your way, Gemini, or else you could have rather good news for someone as well. So get out in the public eye. Because the more contacts you make right now, the better off your future will be. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, the Sun and Mercury are still in your sign. Yes, they're involved in this harsh T-cross among cardinal signs, but Mercury is now direct in your sign, Cancer. And that means it's you that could really be getting some good news right about now. It might be about your home or your family or a family member, or it could be about a real estate matter that you've sort of been thinking about in the back of your mind. Or it can simply be that you are somewhat amazed to learn about people who have softened their attitudes about something behind the scenes, or they have sort of changed their minds about things, and now you can have more relaxed relationships with people, Cancer, and that might be because there is less fear and frustration around. And that could be because you and everyone else can be seeing that justice is being done, and that can make you feel more emotionally secure. So I think that this is a rather good time for you, even though it can be somewhat difficult to get a new start off the ground because Mars in Aries is squaring your sun, and you have to pay attention to business decisions that other people make that are beyond your control right now. Oh, you have to sort of just go along with them, Cancer, because those are the 3 planets in Capricorn that are opposing your sun. But don't worry, even with delays, you can use that delay time to Try to seek to make solid steps, even small ones, in new directions so that you can have a better tomorrow. It is possible. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is a time when you can be somewhat energized and almost provoked to begin something new. Now, the reason may be that someone else wants you to join their team and wants you to do something new with them, or it could simply be that they have an old saying, when one door closes, another one opens, and you could be looking around for another open door if one has closed recently in your life, Leo. And you know, you might find that. It's just you have to be very discriminating in your choices right now, because it's Mars in Aries that is training your sun, and that Mars is extremely dominant and aggressive right now. It's under duress, and that may be why it could be personifying people who want you to do things their way, and they're not concerned with whether it's good for you or not. And so that's what you have to consider first. What is good for you, Leo? And also, what is affordable? And this is a time when, you know, if you enjoy simple pleasures, at least they're for free. And that's the kind of budgeting you should be doing right now. Really keeping your budget small and watching it. Because good times are coming. There's a new moon in your sign next month. And, you know, if you sort of wait now and take it easy now, you'll be in a much better position to do something that you really want to do in August instead. So don't jump the gun right now, Leo. Just sort of pace yourself if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, once again, it's wonderful that there are so many planets in the earth signs, and they're staying there, Virgo. Isn't that wonderful? And that is because Uranus in Taurus is trining your sun, but also Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in Capricorn are trining your sun, which means you have an enormous amount of support behind you. Not only financial support in one way or another, but you have the respect and support of people who are very experienced, have been around a long time, have very good reputations, and they sort of like to do things the old-fashioned way. The old-fashioned way means the harder you work, the more successful you become. Well, that means that there's no fast track to success, that it really does take a sustained effort in order to succeed and to really get something right. You would agree with that, Virgo. And so this is a time when if you have been steadily going forward, or even if you haven't been going forward, but you've been maintaining your standards and been doing that for a long time, people could really be respecting you for that right now. And also you too, just like Taurus, may want to realign your investments right now in terms of what will pay you off in the long term. And that'll work out well for you as well. And the reason why is because your ruler, Mercury, just went direct. It's in Cancer, and it has now gone direct, which means there could, and it sextiles your sun, there could be some good news about a home or a family member coming your way, or even a real estate matter, and it would be somewhat delayed good news, which would be nice. It would be something that you'd been looking for, and now it might show up. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, once again with these same 6 planets in a harsh T-cross in cardinal signs, and yours being a cardinal sign, you have to still be sort of walking on eggshells, Libra. And the reason why is that very dynamic people can be sort of opposing you right now because Mars in Aries is opposing your sun sign. Or else it can be that people in high management in government organizations or large corporations can think that they know more than anybody else, and you have to sort of swallow their line. And you may not like that, Libra, but you might have to do that to keep the peace right now. And there can be a home or a family matter that is somewhat unsettled at the moment, but there can still be some good news coming about that. So you might have to settle not for having everything perfect, but at least some things can be working out pretty well. The thing that is saving you, though, is the fact that Venus and the moon in Gemini are trining your sun, Libra. And that simply means that you can be very popular in your neighborhood or with your pals and buddies. Or there can be a particular woman, maybe even a younger person, that is becoming a very good friend of yours and could really help you out in one way or another. So if I were you, I'd stick to the simple life right now, Libra, and stay away from people that are bothering you. Just turn your back on them discreetly if you can, and try to enjoy the simple pleasures of summer instead. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time when nice things can happen, and you too can get some pretty good news. And the reason why is that the Sun and Mercury in Cancer are trining your Sun, and that Mercury is direct right now. So there is going to be some good news about a family member or a real estate deal, or there can be some delayed news that you have been waiting for. It could even be about our country that could be very good right now, and that would make you feel wonderful, Scorpio. But at the same time, Neptune in Pisces is trining your Sun, and that simply means that if people have been trying to hide anything behind the scenes, it's really going to come out, because it simply means it's not going to be very easy to hide anything anymore. And so you'll have to face the truth, Scorpio, about something. You may have been very mistaken about somebody, and when you learn the truth, you're simply going to have to face it instead. And then go ahead and move on. You have good things in your life, and you too can make some solid steps right now towards success, particularly in your relationships, and particularly if you sort of get in touch with family and friends right now, people that are important to you, and let them know you care. It'll make a big difference. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, the good news is that Mars isn't in Pisces anymore, squaring your Sun, but Neptune is. Oh, darn it. That means there could be somebody behind the scenes that is sort of telling you little stretchers or things that aren't quite true. And you really should check what people say, and also look for the facts and get them verified before you believe anything right now, Sagittarius. Venus and the moon today in Gemini are opposing your Sun sign, which means somebody else, maybe a younger person or somebody you only know slightly, really wants to go their own way and do their own thing. And in fact, they may even want to do two things, since Gemini does rule. It's the sign of the twins. It rules two of everything. They're probably going to be successful, Sagittarius. So I hope you develop a more lenient attitude towards someone. It might be a younger member of your family, and let them, sort of give them a chance to prove that they have a good idea and that they can follow through with it. Because I think they're going to do it anyway, Sagittarius. And it might be better for you if you look like you sort of agree with that instead. You would not be able to hold them back, because if you don't go along with what they want to do, or at least you don't object to it, they'll do it anyway. And so this is a time when you just have to be supportive of somebody else. And even if you're worried, you have to be supportive of somebody else right now. And there can be some good news coming your way as well, but it might be delayed. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a wonderful time for you, as it is for all of the earth signs, because there are 4 planets in earth signs. The 3 that are in your sign are the powerhouse trio: Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in your own sign. They're all retrograde, and they're all closely conjunct each other, which magnifies their power. And they are being trined by Uranus and Taurus, and together those 4 planets all trine the sign of Virgo. If your health hasn't improved, it's about to, Capricorn. Maybe because you're wanting to get back to things that are just good for you, and they could come under the heading of simple pleasures, particularly in the summertime. You you do need to get out and walk a little more, or ride your bike, or just have a barbecue in the backyard. These simple pleasures can just do you a world of good. And besides, no matter how good a worker you are, Capricorn, it is somewhat rejuvenating if you can relax once in a while. It can even make your work more productive. But you have to sort of just relax for a while instead. And that is something you should do. And you should be thinking about your investments. This is a good time for everybody to sort of realign their investments a little bit if they can. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, you could be extra popular right now simply because the moon and Venus in Gemini are trining your sun right now, Aquarius. Oh, what a change that is. And from this spring, when you had to go through some unpleasant changes that you didn't like, and you may have even felt sort of abandoned by others. But now there are people that really want to get close to you, Aquarius. In fact, they want to help you out, even if it's only in a casual, easy way, because that Venus and the moon in Gemini are so nicely trining your sun. So that means that if there is good news coming out, which I think there is, about our homes or our families or a real estate matter, that's one thing. But another thing is that you can simply be extremely attractive to people that you hardly know that are just drawn to you. And it can be that there's something particularly nice that other people are seeing in you right now, Aquarius, and I hope you enjoy it. It'll help you renew your self-confidence right now. So congratulations. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time when there really can be some good news coming your way, Pisces, because the Sun and Mercury in Cancer are trining your Sun. Well, they've been doing that, but Mercury's been retrograde and now it's direct. And so there can be some very good news headed your way, Pisces, about a real estate matter or a home or a family matter, or even something where an injustice comes to an end because people are willing to change their mind about something, or else they are softening their opinion about somebody, and that softening and changing can lead to much less fear and frustration, and that can help people settle down, and in relationships it can help heal an old wound. And I think that's where you benefit right now, Pisces, which is good for you. Venus and the moon in Gemini are squaring your sun where you have Neptune right now, and that simply means that there's some other people that want to go out and just enjoy themselves too. And I hope you don't get your feelings hurt if they do that, Pisces, because you actually have some very good news coming your way that is a little closer to your heart. And you alone can just enjoy that yourself. So congratulations. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can read our blog and see our show on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.